I figured at some point I would be making another video talking about this guy, and he may be successful to some extent and made quite a bit of money in his life, but I can't help but feel like he's a walking L just all around. Every time I see him trending, is just some stupid shit where he is making absolutely no sense and getting ran through in arguments. And this is really no different. So the first thing that I came across was this video.
Steve will do it in XQC. Think about that money that you're flexing and the clout that you're flexing. Steve, you say you have more clout. XQC, you say you have more money. When you die, does that matter? What's going to happen when you die? And none of that money is there to save you. What's going to happen if war starts in the country that you're in, just like it's happening in Palestine right now? And people go and push your house down. They're killing your family. They take away, they separate you. What are you going to do with all that money and clout? It's useless now. When you're dead and you're facing judgment day and your actions are going to be judged, what is God going to look at? Is God going to look at your Instagram followers? Or is he going to look at what you did and think, does this person deserve to go to heaven or hell? Did he do the right things or did he go and sell out? Was he promoting something that was positive or negative? Did he leave the world a better place or did he make it worse for his own personal gain? That's what matters. The money, the fame, all of that. Brother, what's that? It's me. Money comes and goes. What do you really need all that money for? I'm a multi-millionaire. XQC has much more money than me. He can call me a brokey and it's accurate. But what can he really do that's different? He sits at home all day playing video games. What are you doing? After a certain amount, you provide for your family, you provide for yourself, and then it's nothing.
This man's entire career thrives off of back and forth with people. So this time it's XQC and Steve will do it. And apparently XQC flexed his money on him and Steve flexed his clout. And Sneako's response is, well, what does all that matter when you pass away? Does it mean that you helped people? Does it mean that you did good, that you're going to go to heaven? And I feel like that is the biggest cop-out argument that I've ever heard in my life. And I'm blown away that there's some people that are like, that's a W, Sneako. He's cooking. It doesn't make any sense to me. Now, if anybody out there has faith and that's just how you look at things, I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong. Everybody can look at something the way that they want to look at it. But in all reality, there's never been a person who's came back from the afterlife and said, this is actually what it is. So at the end of the day, faith is what it is. You have faith that there is a higher power, faith that there is a heaven or hell, faith that if I do good, I'm going to go to the better place. But there's no proof of that. And I don't care how many books you show me, how many verses you read to me. There is no proof of that. And I do have faith in a higher power. I just don't really buy into the religion thing because it comes across to me more like control. And it also seems like people have altered that shit for years and years. And we all know that people are unreliable. So I'm not going to believe some guy 400 or 500 or 5,000 years ago that wrote a book or altered it and said, well, I was spoken to from God. Like, I don't know you. I don't trust my neighbor down the street. I'm not going to trust you. So that's the way that I look at it. And I just think that this argument, it just falls flat. Like, first of all, yes, the money doesn't mean anything to XQC after he dies. But if he makes generational wealth, then his kids, his kids, his family is set for a long time. So that money does mean something. And Steve Will Do It does help out a lot of people with the money he makes from his clout, which he's shown in videos. So that does mean something. Like, these things do mean something. And you can't just strip them away from people because you're like, well, once you die, you don't have it anymore. So it doesn't matter. Like, I'll never understand that argument. To me, that's just your way of saying like, hey, listen, I don't know how to beat you in that flex. I don't know how to come back from what you said. So when you die, like it's just such a childish argument to me. I'm sorry. And if anyone out there does feel like it was a W and you believe in that fully, and I'm not trying to offend you. I'm just giving you my opinion and you're free to feel differently than me. That's completely fine. Now, aside from that video, I found it pretty interesting that I found another video of Sneako talking on Twitter Spaces where he was throwing shade at Steve Will Do It for telling his subs to go under tweets of Sneako's and say certain things, trying to push a narrative and say that he's trying to change public perception.
But you're right. It's like they're trying to gang people up. I saw the leaked messages of Steve saying, like, asking his paid Twitter subscribers, come on, back me up. It's like he's trying to like get the public to switch their perception on me. I'm so used to this that I didn't even like conceptualize it like that. But you're right. He's trying to get the public to turn on me and become haters instead of fans. They're really trying to not only like, argue, but they want to ruin my reputation.
Less than a minute before he said that, in the same exact clip, he says if Steve Will Do It keeps tweeting, you guys could take care of it and reply.
I think at this point, like, if Steve continues to tweet, like, you guys could take care of it and reply.
So he's basically telling his viewers to do the same thing that he's throwing shade at Steve will do it for. Not only that, but I found another video where he's celebrating the fact that they did that.
Shout out to everybody that slid today, bro. You guys press them so hard. You press all the haters so hard that they have to delete tweets. They start folding. They start regretting their decisions, regretting their words. Love speech on top. We be the infamous, you heard of us. Official Queensbridge murderers.
So I'm not trying to tell anybody else what they should think about him, but I personally feel like he's one of the biggest walking L's that has ever been on the internet. And he got a bag doing it. So I mean, hey, listen, if you can make millions of dollars and all you got to do is look stupid, I'm not mad at it. I just find it funny that he doesn't see it. He actually thinks that he's pushing like the good side of things, that he's the right one, and everybody else that's against him, which is like 90% of the people on the internet, they're all the wrong ones, and we're all doing the wrong thing. And it's just kind of funny to me. And I also came across one last clip I want to share with you guys that's kind of disconnected from those other two. It was a conversation he was having with XQC in the call, but it was also Destiny, and Destiny decided to ask him a question. And his response blew my mind.
What do you think the age of consent should be, Sneako?
This is not an important conversation.
You don't think fucking kids are not as an important conversation? What do you think the age of consent should be? If you want to be consistent, you don't think anything updates, just tell us what you think it should be.
I think it should be at a developed age.
What is a developed age? If you had to
It's
set a law
wrong.
for it, what would you set it? What would you set it about?
It's a developed age.
No, answer the question, you fucking pussy. Holy, you're such a cowardly. Stand up for what you believe in. If you actually are fucking Muslim, you're actually Islamic, then stand up for your fucking beliefs. Every other Muslim scholar online will do this. Do it. Stand tall on it. Don't act like a little in here trying to grill fucking XQC on fucking modern meta ethics or whatever if you won't even answer basic questions about your worldview. What should the age of consent be?
You see how
You want to answer the question? You see how he's gonna yap and not answer the question? I'm gonna ask the same thing when you're done. Go ahead. What was the age?
I just told you at a developed age.
Sneako thinks you should be able to 9-year-olds. That's what Sneako thinks, and he won't answer that question honestly. Or he's gonna have to give a different answer, in which case he's updated his morality, updated his views, and that's really uncomfortable for him. You don't have an answer to any of this, bro. Go back to that fucking corner in London where you're getting roasted by year one debaters on fucking Christianity. This is I don't know what the fuck you're doing in here.
Now, I don't know what preceded this or what sparked that question, but that's crazy to me that he dodges it instead of giving an actual age and says that it's when they're developed. Like, what does that mean? When I was in 6th grade, I remember going into 6th grade, there was a girl who over the summer, or she grew weapons, like huge. Like it was crazy. I remember all of us guys in 6th grade talking about it, thinking it was the wildest thing ever. So we're talking 6th grade. I think in 6th grade, I was like 11 or 12 years old. So if that's developed, then he's saying that should be the age of consent. That's wild to me. How is this even a thing? I'm actually confused that this is something that you would happily promote on the internet and say that you back. And yet he's the one that's in the right. He's the one that is doing the right thing. And, you know, after everybody else dies, all the shit that you have ain't going to mean nothing. And it doesn't mean that you helped people, but I'm okay with 12-year-olds having consent. I don't understand how you guys back this person. This shit is one of the wildest things that I've ever heard in my life. I'll never understand this, and I don't even get how he became popular. But then again, there's a lot of goofy people out there that have become popular. So at this point, I just look at it like it's another day on the internet. It's another goofy bastard. And I guess it's just the way that it's going to go from now on, especially as these newer generations champion these little weirdos that go on Kick and stream and do some really stupid shit. So whatever. I just wanted to talk about it because it popped up on my Twitter feed and I thought it was kind of wild. Let me know what you guys think down below. I'll catch you in the next video, homies.